Welcome, Dinesh Kashikar, to the Physics of Pranayama channel. And I've known Dinesh for many years now. In the Art of Living circles, he's known as Kashi Bhaiya or Kashi Ji. And I know him since our days at IIT. And after he graduated from the IIT Bombay, I won't call it Mumbai because IIT Mumbai doesn't compute in my head. It is always IIT Bombay. After
Absolutely.
graduating from IIT Bombay, Kashi moved on to work with Guruji Sri Ravi Shankar in the ashram in Bangalore, where he has done many amazing things. He's been working on heading the publications division at some point in time. Then he worked on the institute that is keeping the rituals and the traditions going and documenting all this stuff. And he's been traveling and teaching all over the world. He's a certified yoga instructor. What is that? RYT 500 or something like that. So anyway, welcome Kashi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep. It's great being on your show. I've
Oh,
heard
it's not
lots about it.
right, right. It's not a show. It's something that I came up with over the years. Hopefully, one of these days you come on the session and then you can poke all kinds of holes in what I'm saying. So I'd like to start at the beginning, if I may, Kashi, and I'd like to make a request even before we begin, if it's okay with you.
Of course.
So I'd like to make a request that this is not the only session we do, and then you come back for more sessions.
Anything for you, Sandeep.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So going back to the beginning when we were at IIT, I'd like to start off. Have you watched this movie Chichore?
Oh, yes, of course.
And what's your take on it? Did you enjoy it?
I actually liked it. I like the fact that how it depicts the way parents force their children and why that should not be done. I mean, I personally never went through all of that. I mean, when we did IIT, I don't think it was as competitive as it is right now, and so we were lucky in a certain sense, and we actually went through life in through. But I suppose the depiction of life on campus was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it took me back to the hostel days, because the situations they created in the movie, I said, oh my God, I have seen this actually
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
The water fights. Remember the water fight?
absolutely.
And just to put it in perspective for the people watching, Kashi was in Hostel 2. So the movie Chichore is between Hostel 3 and 4. And Kashi in his undergrad, or he eventually did his postgrad also, but he was in Hostel 2. I did my undergrad from Hostel 5, and then I moved to Hostel 2 for my postgrad. That's when I met Kashi. So we were on the borders of the movie Chichore. It's amazing. So Kashi,
Absolutely.
at IIT, you were also General Secretary of the hostel?
Yeah, I was in my final year. I was the GSEC of our hostel.
Yeah. So
And when I
how,
went back after some time, I actually saw my name on that nameplate past G6. It was very nice to see that.
yeah. So reflecting back, Kashi, today after, all these years with Guruji and this, would you do anything different as a GSEC in the hostel today? If you were made GSEC today, what would you do differently?
I guess the whole point of art of living is the fact that we live in the present moment. The whole of the past conspires to create the present, and we look at the present moment as inevitable. And when I look back at the past, if I had something, I might have done something else. Who knows? So I would usually like to refrain from speculating on what if scenarios because that's completely like there are too many variables, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah. It's like what I say is we have this timeline and then we have the Spock timeline. If that Spock timeline is the what if timeline, which nobody can know, right? So it's a really great answer. But I also want to ask you, you were a footballer. You were playing football when you were at
Yeah,
IIT.
of course. I loved playing a lot of things. And believe it or not, I even tried basketball, even though I was so short, and I still am.
So it's quite cool that You were good at football, and today you tell people not to be a football of other people's opinion.
Yeah, it's only one who's good at it who can tell people about it.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I'm saying that I'm going to get left brainers who are right brain thinkers to get on this channel. And you are quite left brain. Yeah. So anyway, it was great, Kashi, after so many
Great.
years to just sit and talk like that. I wish we had done this
Mm.
when I was at IIT, but at that time I was so like not into this stuff, and I thought all this is just cuckoo stuff, and I ran away from all you guys.
Yeah, it feels just like having a CAC session in the
It's
wing
CAC
at
session, yeah,
night.
exactly, CAC session. And I mean, at that time, I was just thinking when I was telling the story at the Physics of Pranayama talk that all of us were at the same place at the same time. I mean, Bava was there, you were there, Rajore was there, all of us were right there, and we never interacted. We were just in our own space. You guys maybe interacted a little bit, but I was
Yeah, we
totally
did.
not
Yeah.
in your space. So you
Anyway,
did the course when
so
1995,
95, yeah.
and
After I finished 4 years of coursework, then that's when I did my program
and
and never looked back.
you also got Professor Zuvaikar to take the program, right?
Oh, yes, of course. He finally did it.
And what what was his reaction after that?
He's the same as ever. I see him. He's just become more saintly, is all I can say.
Yeah. I remember
It was
when I was.
nice. I actually went to the institute. I think last year, just before I came to the US last year. I actually went to the institute. I met him. It was very nice. He still has a lab. He's retired, but he's still professor emeritus and still runs a lab and guides people. Very
Yeah.
nice.
I was lucky that I did my, the undergrad seminar that we do in IIT. My work
Hmm.
was with Professor Zuekar, and it was on stochastic processes.
Stochastic process, I
I
know.
could not even spell the word stochastic at that time. So I went to Professor Zuekar and I said, "Sir, I'm not finding any literature. The library has nothing on stochastic." He says, "What do you mean? Nothing." He got up right there. He says, "Come with me." He walked with me all the way to the library. He looked at those
Which
index
is,
cards.
if you know, if for the people who know IIT Bombay, it's the other end of town,
It's the other end of the institute.
the
And
department.
he just dropped everything he was doing. He says, "I will show you." He came with me. That time there was no electronic thing. There was those index
Yeah,
cards, and he would
yeah,
look at the paper. He would write down that something something dot something something, and he would
yeah.
take me to that book, and he would pull it out and see, and he would say, "Here's the book. Read chapter number 7," and then he would walk away. And this is just amazing. And the thing with Zoekar is he tells you to read chapter number 7, but you will not understand chapter number 7 unless you
Till
read
you,
like 17 other chapters. It's a stroke of genius, that thing. So anyway, so Kashi, we'll do this CAC session. I'm thinking we should get like even Birju and all these people on one
yeah, yeah,
time zone,
sure,
and just like hang out as if we're. But
absolutely.
we have to have a cup of chai, Kashi. Come on.
Yeah,
But it's been great, Kashi. I think
yeah,
we should hang out now that we got Zoom, etc. going. I think
absolutely.
this one virus has brought the whole world. Essentially, there is no more borders, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I
And
wish that it actually transforms to physically much more interaction between countries. And I see that if it can allow people who generally need to travel to be able to travel, I think that should really make a big difference, is what I feel. I also see a lot of people getting back to the roots. So in India, for example, a lot of migrant laborers saying, "Hey, all of this is not what I really want. Let me get back home." So people are actually both physically and figuratively getting back home. So I guess many people are asking the question, having had all of this wealth and everything, what next? I mean, what's the point? Let's look for something higher. So I think we all have our work cut out for us. We have lots of work to do and really make that allow people to have access to this wonderful knowledge, which I feel has been really limited access for so long.
well, at one level, it's been limited, but the other level is that it has been taken for granted. We don't
Yeah,
realize what we have.
Exactly. And so I guess it's our own mind that limits us from accessing the knowledge. So my mindset, like see a lot of our colleagues from IIT whose mindset was probably that, hey, this is all bunkum. And let's focus on all of this. And maybe all of us were also in that category at some point of time, and then it just flipped. So I guess there is something that allows us to see. I remember once Baba was asked this question. That Baba, you're so intelligent, you could have got a job anywhere, you could have done anything. Why art of living? He said, because I'm intelligent.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
I really feel it takes a lot of intelligence to appreciate and to actually look at other viewpoints than what we hold on to. And that ability to expand uh, our paradigms. I think this is what the world is experiencing right now. Because a lot of the paradigms that we used to live with have changed already. Uh, One of my friends, he's a game developer in Bombay. So he has a
Mhm.
company. He said, "Yaar, mere to chandi ho gaye. For me, it's the best time. People are at home and playing my games,
Yeah.
and all my staff is at home and coding. I realize I don't need any infrastructure, so I'm going to sell off all the office space, and I'm going to make more money."
But yeah, it's so right what you said. This whole thing about slowing down is what puts things into perspective. And we
Right?
would never have slowed down till a virus said, "Okay, just stop now, just slow down."
Yeah. It was like a hard stop for
It was
many
like a
people.
completely. And my next door neighbor, they're very cute, three girls, and really nice people. And they have not watched The Sound of Music. So when we moved here 2 years ago, we just had a conversation, and they said, we haven't watched Sound of Music. I said, let's do a movie night, and you guys come
Hmm.
over, and we'll watch The Sound of Music. We'll get some pizza, etc., and it'll be good. We couldn't find the time for 2 years, that one day or to watch a 3 hour movie. We couldn't find the time. 2 days ago, we set up an outdoor projector with a voice and thing, and we watched Sound of Music outside with social distancing. So they were in their backyard. I was in my backyard. We had a white sheet screen. We had a projector and sound. It took a virus and 2 years for us to do this thing, which we should have done like right away. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing how when we slow down, that's what Guruji says in Sanyam also, slow down.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
the whole thing will come in perspective. It is just amazing. So Kashi, I wanted to also ask you, but not now. I know it's late.
Okay.
But for the next one, when you came to Delaware, you gave a very nice answer on the the caste system and how it all makes sense, etc. So we will just table that. But I want to say this because otherwise I lose my train of thought and I don't remember what to ask you. So I'm just going to document. This is just documenting my question, and then we'll get you on, and then you can talk a little bit about that
Sure, sure.
along with other things.
Definitely, definitely.
This has been great,
Great.
Kashi. I wish we had done this many
Same,
years ago, but fine. This
same here.
point onwards, I like that
It took a
formatting is good.
virus.
It took a
It took a
virus, yeah.
virus.
It took a virus. I love this formatting in Word. You format something and you say this point forward. Forget about the
Yeah.
whole doc. This is my story in life. This point forward. That's great. Okay, so
Sure.
thanks, Kashi, and
Okay.
I
Thank you.
hope to
Thank you, Sandeep.
get you back. Your schedule is quite busy, but we'll find an hour here and
Sure.
there. Okay.
Definitely. Definitely. See you. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.